In the grand fluorescent-lit timeline of human history, we assume evolution is a straight line upward. We are wrong. Walk into any retail establishment in America, and you will witness the fraying edges of civilization. We are not looking at simple mistakes here. We are observing a specific breed of confident chaos that makes security guards question the very nature of reality. From culinary crimes committed in saunas to the weaponization of emotional support animals, the following dossier compiles 50 documented instances where the social contract wasn't just broken. It was shattered, deep-fried, and returned for a refund. Oi, oi, the Caprine chaos theory. There is a specific kind of hubris required to believe that a farm animal belongs in the canned goods aisle. A woman was permanently banned from a local Walmart after her emotional support goat decided that its support duties included an all-out tactical assault on the cereal section. This wasn't a passive animal. This was a creature of chaos. It tore open a family-sized box of Cheerios with the precision of a demolition crew, devouring the contents while leaving a trail of emotional support pellets across the linoleum. The cleanup crew, armed with mops and a profound sense of existential dread, found themselves scrubbing away the physical evidence of a mental breakdown. It raises the question, who is supporting whom? When your therapy animal creates a biohazard zone next to the creamed corn, the therapy isn't working. 2. The Aquatic Duelist. In the annals of misplaced aggression, few moments rival the man who attempted to fight a lobster. This individual was ejected from a grocery store not for theft, but for initiating a heated verbal confrontation with a crustacean in the live tank. He was observed tapping aggressively on the glass, shouting, "You think you're so tough in there?" to a creature whose brain is roughly the size of a grasshopper's. The man genuinely seemed to believe the lobster was mocking him. Security had to intervene physically before he could escalate the situation to a parking lot duel. It's a stark reminder of male fragility. When your ego is so bruised that you need to assert dominance over a dinner ingredient, you have officially lost the fight against yourself. 3. The Sauna Rotisserie. Efficiency is a virtue, but there is a line where multitasking becomes a public health violation. A man was banned for life from a 24-hour gym after he attempted to cook a whole rotisserie chicken on the sauna rocks. He defended his actions as meal prep efficiency, arguing that combining his sweat session with his cooking time was simply smart time management. The resulting aroma, a humid, suffocating blend of eucalyptus, body odor, and slow-roasting poultry, cleared the locker room faster than a fire alarm. Other members were left gasping in a fog of chicken grease. It is a bold culinary statement, certainly, but one that suggests a fundamental misunderstanding of both hygiene and thermodynamics. 4. The Genius Bar Toast. There is a logic to technology, and then there is the logic of this man. He was escorted out of a pristine, glass-walled Apple store after bringing in his rusty, crumb-filled kitchen toaster for repairs at the Genius Bar. He wasn't joking. He engaged in a serious, heated debate with the geniuses, arguing that since the toaster was a machine, and he was not a genius, they were legally and morally obligated to fix his breakfast dilemma. The juxtaposition of high-end MacBooks and a $12 appliance encrusted with burnt crumbs is a piece of modern art in itself. He genuinely believed that the genius title conferred a universal ability to repair all matter of powered objects, displaying a touching, if delusional, faith in corporate branding. 5. The Mannequin Romance. Loneliness creates strange bedfellows, but usually those bedfellows have a pulse. A man was politely but firmly escorted out of a Macy's for attempting to have a romantic slow dance with a female mannequin. Witnesses reported him whispering sweet nothings into its cold, molded plastic ear, swaying gently to music only he could hear. The situation escalated from pathetic to problematic when he became genuinely offended that the mannequin wouldn't lead. Security had to step in to break up this one-sided, lifeless love affair. It was a scene straight out of a dystopian tragicomedy. A human being seeking warmth from a mass-produced polymer shell only to be rejected by its stillness. 6. The fuzzy logic of fuzzy dice. We pivot to the realm of man versus machine. A grown man was removed from a Target for engaging in a screaming match with a self-checkout kiosk. This wasn't just frustration, it was a dialogue. He was heard yelling, "Don't you take that tone with me!" at the automated voice repeatedly announcing an unexpected item in the bagging area. The tragedy is that he was losing the argument. The machine, indifferent and relentless, simply repeated its prompt, driving the man into a frenzy of impotent rage. It serves as a microcosm of our modern condition. We build machines to serve us, and then spend our Sunday afternoons screaming at them for doing exactly what they were programmed to do. 7. The processed power refund. Consumer rights are important, but they usually require the product to be intact. One customer tried to return a half-eaten pepperoni pizza to a Best Buy, an electronics store, claiming he wasn't satisfied with its processing power. When the baffled manager explained that they exclusively sell electronics, not Italian-American cuisine, the man furiously demanded to speak to the Geek Squad to file a formal complaint about the toppings. He was attempting to apply the warranty logic of a hard drive to a slice of pepperoni. It's a beautiful, glitchy collision of contexts, proving that for some, the customer service desk is not a place for transactions, but a stage for performance art. 8. The senior citizen simulation. The quest for a discount can drive men to madness, or in this case, bad theater. A man in his 20s was tossed out of a store for trying to claim a senior citizen discount while wearing a hilariously fake gray wig and leaning heavily on a broom handle he had grabbed from the cleaning aisle. He committed to the bit, faking a dramatic, theatrical cough at the register that sounded less like tuberculosis and more like a dying seal. The cashier, unimpressed by this award-winning performance, declined the discount. It wasn't just fraud. It was bad fraud. It was a low-budget production of Benjamin Button, where the only thing aging in reverse was his dignity. 9. The holy water of hydration. In the arid desert of the produce section, one woman found her oasis. She was asked to leave a Sprouts Farmers Market after she was discovered using the automatic vegetable misters as her personal spa treatment. She stood there, eyes closed, face upturned, accepting the light, refreshing spray intended for the kale and chard. When an employee interrupted her hydration therapy, she became visibly annoyed, as if they were the ones violating social norms. It is a level of narcissism that is almost admirable. She looked at a system designed to keep broccoli crisp and thought, yes, this was built for me. 10. The DIY VIP experience. Why settle for stadium seating when you can bring the living room with you? A man was ejected from an AMC movie theater for bringing his own full-sized Lazy Boy recliner from home. The logistics alone are staggering. He managed to drag this upholstered behemoth all the way to the front row without being stopped. But his ambition was his undoing. He had the audacity to ask an usher where the nearest power outlet was so he could use the heated massage feature. He didn't just want to watch the movie, he wanted to colonize the theater. It's the American pioneering spirit applied to the goal of absolute sedentary comfort. 11. The Cheerio Architect. Viral fame is a drug, and the grocery store is the dealer. A teenager was kicked out after attempting the infamous gallon smashing challenge. He executed a perfect dramatic slip, sending a gallon of milk flying across the pristine floor, exploding in a white supernova of dairy. The physical comedy was on point, but the tragedy struck in the aftermath. His horror was palpable when he realized his friend, the cameraman, had forgotten to press record. The spilled milk wasn't the tragedy. The lack of digital validation was, he destroyed a product and created a hazard for absolutely 0 likes. In the economy of attention, this is tantamount to bankruptcy. 12. The high-speed hardware. Physics is a harsh mistress, especially in the hardware aisle. 2 friends were banned from a home improvement store after attempting to reenact a scene from Jackass using a shopping cart and a leaf blower. They had positioned the blower as a thruster, aiming for high-speed glory down the main aisle. Their dreams of aerodynamic propulsion were cut short when the manager calmly informed them that the store's liability insurance did not cover profound stupidity. It's a rare moment where corporate policy aligns perfectly with natural selection. They wanted to be stuntmen. They ended up being cautionary tales with a ban notice. 13. The Great Hamster Jailbreak. Activism requires planning. A would-be animal rights activist was banned from a PetSmart after attempting to liberate a hamster by simply releasing it from its cage. Her grand gesture of freedom didn't result in the hamster running into the sunset. It resulted in a store-wide lockdown while employees frantically searched for a tiny, terrified fugitive hiding behind the dog food. She mistook a retail pet store for the Bastille. In her mind, she was a revolutionary. In reality, she just made a minimum wage employee spend 3 hours moving 50-pound bags of kibbles and bits to find a rodent that didn't know it was oppressed. 14. The Wedding Crashers. The rental tuxedo is a contract of trust, one this man violated in spectacular fashion. He tried to return a rented tux that was visibly covered in wedding cake, champagne stains, and grass stains on the knees. Instead of apologizing, he argued with the manager for 20 minutes that the suit was defective. He demanded a full refund for his very eventful evening, implying that a high-quality suit should repel cake and alcohol like a force field. It's the logic of a drunk toddler. I made a mess, therefore the universe owes me money. 15. The Frozen Turkey League. Sports flourish in the most unlikely places. A group of friends was thrown out of a grocery store for inventing frozen turkey bowling. They used a shopping cart as the ball and a pyramid of frozen birds as the pins, right in the center of the main aisle. The manager did not appreciate their innovation in winter sports. The sound of a 20-pound frozen turkey hitting linoleum is not a sound any retailer wants to hear. It represents the utter desecration of Thanksgiving dinner for the sake of a strike. They turned the poultry section into a bowling alley, proving that boredom is the mother of destruction. 16. The Vintage Tech Trade-In. Nostalgia has a market value, but usually it's 0. A woman was removed from an ATT store after causing a scene because they wouldn't accept her husband's ancient brick-like flip phone from 2003 as a trade-in for a new iPhone. She insisted it had immense sentimental value that should translate directly into a monetary discount. She was trying to pay with memories. In her mind, the fact that the phone survived the early 2000s made it an artifact, not e-waste. The clerk had to explain that sentimental value is not a currency recognized by the Federal Reserve or Apple. 17. The Urban Angler. The hunter-gatherer instinct is hard to suppress. A man was kicked out of a Bass Pro Shops for trying to catch live fish out of the giant display aquarium. He brought his own tiny fishing rod from home and was patiently waiting for a bite when security informed him that the bass were for decorative purposes only. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a heist. He looked at a retail display and saw a grocery run. It takes a special kind of focus to stand in an air-conditioned mall surrounded by price tags and think, yes, I will hunt here. 18. The Panera Office Squatter. The work-from-home revolution has casualties. Someone set up a full-blown office in a Panera Bread, complete with a desktop monitor, a printer, and a large potted ficus plant for ambiance. She got furious when staff told her she couldn't run her accounting business there for 8 hours a day on the purchase of a single cup of coffee. She had colonized the table. The ficus plant is the detail that truly elevates this from loitering to occupation. She wasn't just working, she was nesting. She treated a fast casual bakery like a leased commercial real estate property. 19. The Crustacean Smuggler. Greed often sounds like crunching shells. A man was banned from a Golden Corral for life after employees caught him stuffing his cargo shorts with crab legs. He tried to play it cool and waddle out, but the distinct sound of exoskeletons crushing with every step gave away his poorly planned seafood heist. It brings a literal meaning to all you can eat. He decided that all you can eat implied all you can carry in your pockets. The image of a man walking with pants full of crab legs is a tragic portrait of gluttony meeting gravity. 20. The Ghost Riders. Elevators are for transport, not for stunts. A group of teens was ejected from a mall for trying to ghost ride the glass elevator. They were sending it up and down empty between floors, and then racing it on the escalators, causing mass confusion. They treated the mall's infrastructure like a vertical relay race. It's innocent enough until you realize they were annoying literally everyone who actually needed to use the elevator to, go places. They turned a convenience into a conveyance of chaos. 21. The Crayola Counterfeiters. Art is subjective, currency is not. An aspiring artist was removed from a Michael's craft store for attempting to pay for a basket of glitter and googly eyes with a coupon they had drawn themselves with a crayon. They argued it was a legitimate work of art and therefore had monetary value. It did not. This is the intersection of delusion and commerce. The logic, I made this money, therefore it is money, is functionally identical to cryptocurrency, but somehow less respected when done in wax crayon at a craft store. 22. The Public Potty. Some lines should never be crossed, and one of them is the rim of a display toilet. A man was caught using a display toilet at a Lowe's for its intended purpose. When confronted by a horrified employee, his only defense was to calmly state, well, there wasn't a sign on it saying I couldn't. This is the defense of a sociopath. He requires a specific sign to tell him not to defecate in the middle of a hardware aisle. He was given a very personal escort out of the building, presumably while the staff burned the display unit behind him. 23. The Rogue Beautician. Boundaries are physical and social. A woman was asked to leave Sephora for giving another customer an aggressive, unsolicited makeover. She had appointed herself a beauty consultant and was caught trying to blend foundation on a stranger's face with her bare hands, insisting she could fix their whole look. This is assault with a blending sponge. To touch a stranger's face in 2024 is a crime. To do it while criticizing their complexion is a declaration of war. She wasn't shopping, she was crusading against what she perceived as ugliness without consent or hygiene. 24. The Monopoly. Money laundering. One genius tried to pay for his groceries using Monopoly money, getting into a serious debate with the cashier that it was legal tender because it came from a bank. The store manager had the unfortunate task of explaining the difference between Parker Brothers and the U.S. Treasury. This man wasn't insane. He was just operating on a different economic standard. In his world, a hotel on Boardwalk pays for milk and eggs. It's a level of financial illiteracy that borders on performance art. 25. The Build-A-Butcher. We return to the grotesque. A woman was kicked out of a Build-A-Bear workshop after demanding that the employees stuff her custom bear with raw ground beef she brought from home. She wanted her new stuffed friend to be anatomically correct. This request horrified staff, parents, and children alike. It is a Cronenberg movie come to life in a mall. She wanted to give the bear organs. The mental image of a plush toy slowly rotting from the inside is a metaphor for something. Probably her own psyche. 26. The Cursed Vocabulary. Some men just want to watch the world burn. An absolute madman was banned from Petco for methodically teaching every parrot in the store an impressive and colorful vocabulary of swear words. He was only caught when a manager overheard a cockatoo perfectly recite a George Carlin routine to a horrified family of 4. This is arguably the most creative act of vandalism on this list. He didn't break merchandise, he corrupted it, he turned innocent birds into feathered sailors, leaving a legacy of profanity that would last long after his ban. 27. The Lawnmower Symphony. Noise pollution is a weapon. One aspiring NASCAR driver was ejected from a Lois after he managed to start every single ride-on lawnmower in the display aisle. The resulting symphony of roaring engines and exhaust fumes created a toxic, deafening cloud that sent other shoppers running for their lives. He created an indoor smog event. It wasn't just loud. It was chemically dangerous. He stood in the center of his idling mechanical army, the conductor of an orchestra of carbon monoxide. 28. The Zoom Boardroom. The gig economy has no shame. A woman dressed in a full business suit was removed from a Best Buy for conducting a very serious 2-hour Zoom job interview on a display laptop. She got annoyed and shushed employees who tried to explain that she couldn't just commandeer their $1,000 merchandise for her career advancement. She treated the sales floor like a WeWork. The sheer entitlement of shushing a person who actually works there while you are using their electricity and hardware to get a job somewhere else is a power move. A wrong one, but a power move. 29. The Librarian of Barnes e Noble. Possession is 9/10 of the law, apparently. A man was banned from Barnes & Noble for treating it like his personal library. He would read books for hours, and when someone tried to buy the book he was holding, he would hiss at them and angrily claim that he wasn't finished with it yet. He hissed, like a possum defending trash. He forgot that a bookstore is for selling inventory, not for housing squatters. In his mind, the price tag was just a suggestion, and the store was his personal reading room. 30. The Defective Lottery Ticket. Hope is a dangerous thing. One customer at a 7-Eleven tried to demand a full refund on a losing lottery ticket. His flawless logic was that the product was clearly defective because it failed to perform its advertised function of making him rich. The clerk and state law disagreed. This is the ultimate consumer complaint. I bought this dream, and it turned out to be paper. He wanted a warranty on luck. It's a tragic, hilarious misunderstanding of how gambling and reality works. 31. The Shopping Cart Centipede. A family was kicked out of Target for creating a shopping cart centipede by linking 6 carts together with bungee cords. They were snaking their way through the store, causing a massive traffic jam, and taking out a precarious pyramid of canned peaches in the process. This wasn't efficiency. It was a train wreck. They turned a shopping trip into a logistics nightmare. The coordination required to navigate a 6-cart train through the women's apparel section suggests they had the skills for engineering, but chose chaos instead. 32. The Fort Builder. Men never really grow up, they just get bigger toys. An architect of chaos was banned from Costco for building an elaborate multi-room fort out of toilet paper and paper towel packages. He then got territorial and refused to let anyone buy a part of his load-bearing walls, leading to his royal eviction from the kingdom he created. He prioritized structural integrity over commerce. In a store designed for bulk buying, he saw building blocks. It's a fleeting moment of childhood wonder, ruined by the fact that he was a 40-year-old man blocking the Charmin. 33. The Salon Sink. Vanity knows no bounds. A woman was removed from an Old Navy after employees discovered she was trying to dye her hair bright purple in the dressing room sink. She was caught purple-handed after permanently staining the sink, the mirror, and a large portion of the beige carpet. A clothing store dressing room is a place of vulnerability, yes, but not a salon. She destroyed the infrastructure of a changing room to save $40 on a dye job. The cleanup cost, one assumes, was significantly higher. 34. The love currency. Sentimental value has an exchange rate of 0. A man tried to pay a $150 grocery bill with a fat stack of old Thanksgiving gift cards that said "with love" in glitter. He argued heartfelt messages were tender, therefore legal tender, and demanded the cashier run the love balance. Accounting tragically could not locate the love ledger. It's a cynical world where love can't buy you frozen peas, but that is the world we live in. He was trying to monetize affection. 35. The Mannequin Stripper. A customer was removed from a high-end department store for demanding to buy the clothes directly off a mannequin. When the employee explained they had the same items on a nearby rack, she insisted it wouldn't be the same and tried to undress the plastic model herself. She believed the mannequin imparted some magical essence to the fabric. Watching a woman wrestle a stiff, armless fiberglass torso to get a cardigan is a scene that defines the desperation of fast fashion. 36. The Unicorn Hunter. Reality is often disappointing. Someone was kicked out of Walmart after filing a formal 2-page written complaint at the customer service desk about the store's abysmal selection of mythical creatures. He was genuinely upset they didn't stock unicorns and demanded to know when their next shipment would arrive. This is likely a prank, but the dedication, a 2-page handwritten letter, suggests a commitment to the bit that borders on the pathological. He treated Walmart like a Dungeons & Dragons supply store. 37. The Display Dinner. Domestic bliss is portable. A couple was asked to leave a Pottery Barn after they brought a full 3-course meal from home to eat at a display dining room table. They had spread a tablecloth, lit battery-operated candles, and were arguing about who had to do the dishes when they were discovered. They were role-playing a life they couldn't afford on furniture they didn't own. The argument about dishes, which didn't technically exist, is the cherry on top. It's performance art about the suburban dream. 38. The Tire Tantrum. A man was escorted out of the Costco Tire Center for getting furious with an employee who couldn't find a new set of all-season radials for his son's Power Wheels Jeep. He just could not comprehend why they didn't stock tires for a plastic toy car. He was screaming about traction for a vehicle that runs on a 12-volt battery and goes 3 miles per hour. He wanted Michelin quality for Fisher-Price steaks. It's a father trying to optimize a toy into a high-performance vehicle fueled by rage. 39. The Live Spoiler. There is a special circle in hell for this man. A literature enthusiast was banned from a bookstore for loudly and dramatically acting out the final, spoiler-filled chapter of a popular new mystery novel. He provided unique voices for all the characters, revealing the killer to a crowd of increasingly furious potential buyers. He didn't just read, he broadcasted. He stole the joy of discovery from dozens of people, weaponizing his literacy to ruin the endings for everyone else. It is intellectual terrorism. 40. The Floor Buffer Hoverboard. Innovation often leads to injury. An aspiring extreme sports athlete was thrown out of a Target for attempting to use a running floor polishing machine as his personal hoverboard. His joyride lasted about 8 glorious feet before he, the machine, and a massive display of tortilla chips all became one tragic, waxy mess. He saw an industrial cleaning tool and thought, I can ride that. It is the spirit of the Wright brothers applied to janitorial equipment with disastrous results. 41. The Action Figure Feud. Maturity is a construct. A grown man in his 30s was removed from a toy store after getting into a tearful, high-pitched, screaming argument with an 8-year-old boy over the last remaining Captain Cosmic action figure. Security had to intervene when the man refused to let go, citing that he saw it first. Imagine being a security guard and having to pry a plastic toy from the hands of a grown man fighting a second grader. The man wasn't buying it for a child. He was buying it for the child inside him, who apparently is a brat. 42. The Condiment Artist. Color matching is an art. Someone at Home Depot tried to get the employee at the paint counter to create a custom color by blending a bottle of ketchup with a jar of mustard. He insisted he was going for a bold, culinary-inspired look for his dining room and could not understand the health code violations. He wanted to paint his walls with rotting food. The smell alone, once dried, would be a war crime. He treated organic matter like pigment, failing to understand that paint is meant to stay on the wall, not decompose on it. 43. The IKEA Parkour. The world is a gym, if you're dumb enough. A wannabe stuntman was ejected from IKEA for practicing his parkour routine on the display furniture. He was leaping from bookshelf to sofa and vaulting over coffee tables until he misjudged a jump and went straight through a flimsy particle board wardrobe, Narnia style. He learned a hard lesson that day. IKEA furniture is designed for visual appeal, not structural impact. He didn't find a magical land. He found jagged wood and a lifetime ban. 44. The Wonder Refund. A customer marched into Walmart with a tangled strand of Christmas lights and demanded a refund because they didn't create a sense of wonder. He insisted the box should include guaranteed magic, then asked for compensation for emotional flatness. The manager recommended trying awe at another retailer. This is a man who bought a commodity expecting a spiritual experience. He wanted 120 volts of joy and got light bulbs. The existential disappointment was palpable. 45. The Drawn Deposit. Banking relies on trust and federal backing, not sketching skills. A man walked into a Chase bank and confidently attempted to deposit a piece of notebook paper on which he had drawn a very detailed picture of a $1 million bill. He argued it was a visual representation of his assets and was shocked when the teller did not accept his artwork. He tried to deposit a meme. He believed that if he drew it well enough, the economy would just accept it. It is the logic of a toddler applied to high finance. 46. The Recorder Trade. Value is subjective. A guy was kicked out of a guitar center for trying to trade in the plastic recorder he played in the 3rd grade for a brand new Gibson Les Paul. He claimed it was a vintage instrument with huge sentimental value, which he felt was an even trade for a $3,000 electric guitar. He walked in with a spit-filled piece of plastic and tried to leave with a masterpiece. The audacity is staggering. He essentially tried to trade his childhood saliva for a rock star's tool. 47. The Spoiler Alert. Customization requires context. A customer was banned from an AutoZone for insisting that the employees help him install a gigantic, definitely not street-legal spoiler onto his Honda Civic right there in the middle of the store. He argued, "You sold me the part, so you have to finish the job," and started opening tool sets. He treated the retail floor like his personal garage. He couldn't wait to get home. The need for aerodynamic downforce was too urgent. 48. The Mechanic Pharmacist. Specialization is dead. A woman went to a CVS pharmacy counter, not for a prescription, but to ask the pharmacist to diagnose a weird rattling and coughing sound her car was making. She was genuinely perplexed when the medical professional couldn't tell her why her 2004 minivan was so sick. She heard doctor and assumed it applied to internal combustion engines. It's a category error of the highest order. Asking a drug dealer, legally speaking, to perform open-heart surgery on a transmission. 49. The Indoor Camper. Immersion is key. A man was removed from a Dick's Sporting Goods for setting up a tent in the camping section and attempting to start a small, smokeless campfire with LED lights and a can of Sterno. He was just trying to get the full experience before buying and was annoyed his immersion was broken. He was building a fire inside a retail store. The primitive brain took over. I have shelter, I need fire. The fact that the shelter was nylon and the ground was polished concrete didn't register. 50. The fire extinguisher finale. We end with the nuclear option. A man was permanently banned from a grocery store for using a fire extinguisher on the entire produce section. When confronted by the stunned manager amidst a cloud of white foam, he calmly explained that he felt the automatic misters were insufficiently hydrating the organic broccoli. He didn't see destruction, he saw himself as a helper. He buried the vegetables in chemical retardant to save them. It is the perfect metaphor for this entire list. A grand, dramatic gesture of help that leaves everything in ruins. The verdict. In the grand theater of human folly, these facts remind us that the line between customer and inmate is often just a matter of perspective. From the man fighting a lobster to the woman hydrating with vegetable mist, we see a portrait of a species that is bored, entitled, and profoundly confused by the modern world. We build stores to be temples of convenience, and in return we offer sacrifices of raw ground beef in teddy bears and rotisserie chickens in saunas. These aren't just funny stories. They are warning signs. They tell us that under the veneer of polite society, there is a deep primal urge to just break stuff and see what happens. Some people leave the store with a receipt. Others leave with a lifetime ban. So tell me, what's the dumbest thing you've ever seen someone do in public? Drop it in the comments, and let's see who's witnessed true stupidity in the wild. And if this dossier of disaster made you laugh, hit like and subscribe. It's the only kind of chaos we actually encourage.